Well, if anyone thought that these lobes were a little bit like a peaking wave, you'd have to have a look at the spray coming off this barrel. Ugly. And but cool, and I just thought I'd show you before it all disappears. So as you can see, I've just fashioned the underside of that. Look at it, it's like the light glistening through a wave before it breaks. Using fiberglass to do these lobes is really just an exploration of the shape. It's working with the shape leads me to think about how did they actually do this, but I really want the shape, so I'm gonna cut this out now, trim up the edges, and then I'll have this shape to work with and refine. It's so dynamic. Some of the curvatures I believe are incalculable. I don't even know if I'm coming to think that some of the curves are functions of other dimensions rather than specified, and I'm quite skeptical whether the original prototyper actually had a prescribed curve for every millimetre of this lobe. I think rather they had goals. I think they had a goal of the tip being the same height as the centre. I think they had a goal of the tip ending in line with the circle, and they had a goal of these points of attachment being in specified places, and they had an idea of the rounding, they had an idea of the trajectory of the edges. But as far as some of these curves created between those dimensions, I would say that they are just a dynamic function of the materials. And looking at it, I keep coming back to, yes, I think they will have cut this lobe out of a flat material, maybe a sheet metal. I'm actually going to work with it. And looking at it, I come back to, did they use thick leather? Did they dry leather on top of a clay moulding? Very possible, probably more possible. If you look at how leather dries out and becomes really hard, I think that, to me, is becoming apparent what they most likely did to develop this shape. It's a shape that requires a lot of flexibility. So yeah, that's where we're up to. It does need cleaning up. You'll see a few leaves. You've got to have a sense of humour. But I don't just want to show you the finished product and say ta-da. I do sort of want to take you through step by step. What I did in the back here is you'll notice a little bit of a colour change, as I actually filled on this side under here with a smooth run of wet plaster. Same sort of plaster I was using to do the mould for the cycloid curve, and that's just filled that gap. I didn't want it to be solid fiberglass there, because obviously we need to cut this out, and then this will stop about here and then start embracing the curve that's been created from underneath. So I've done my best so that this wouldn't actually mould in to the dish, but we've had some overlap here, so I'm just going to run the vibrating saw around here and around here, and possibly around here, and obviously trim up these edges, just so that we've got something cool to look at. I'm hoping this lobe can then be something I can work with seated at a tabletop and you know, perhaps then smooth out, use this as a skeleton, and then smooth out what I want to smooth out. I think next steps after that is actually looking at the rim to corner connections, and there's a little bit of development we need to do around that to catch up with where they are at the moment. We've got these corners fixing this way up into the dish, but reality is they actually fix out with that lip. So anyway, once I get this onto the tabletop and all cleaned up, then we can talk some more about shape. There's the update. Oh, it's a bit of a long video. Stay tuned. We'll see you on the next one.